Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back here to today's episode of Advanced Bass Fishing, and much appreciated you guys coming by the channel to check out today's video. And guys, today we're going to be talking about something you just don't hear people talking about or doing much anymore. We're going to be talking about frog fishing, and specifically how to modify your frog to get more bites on it and to land more fish. This is sort of a lost art in fishing that's sort of like, for whatever reason, people don't do it much anymore. But late summer and early fall is some of the best time of year to fish a frog, and I want to go over that in today's episode, and I think it's going to add up to some good fish for you guys. Also, guys, before I get started, a couple quick things. Just want to invite everybody, anyone interested in booking an on-the-water lesson with me, you can do that by going to my Facebook page, Randy Blaukat Professional Angler. Shoot me a private message for info. And also, guys, thank you everybody that's taken time to hit that subscribe button here to Advanced Bass Fishing and taking advantage of our channel memberships. Really appreciate that. Okay, frog fishing, guys, they've been around forever. I remember back when I was a kid reading bass fishing magazines that they were using rubber frogs back then, you know, that looked exactly like frogs. Frog fishing has been a part of fishing for 60 years now, pretty close to it. And with the advent of some high-tech frogs, this is that Megabass Big Gabot, guys, which is, in my opinion, the best frog you can buy. I'll put my Tackle Warehouse link in the description to the Big Gabot frog if you want to try one. High-tech frog like the Big Gabot here, guys, massive improvement on every component on it we'll talk about. But I really want to talk about how I modify my frog, and then a little bit about, you know, how I fish it, how I like to fish it. Okay, now this is some of the modifications I do here. This is something that I really don't ever fish a frog unless I do this. I modify them every single time. Now, a lot of frogs have a pretty hard body on it. The plastic is pretty hard. The Big Gabot's not that hard, but I want to show you something I do on all my frogs, regardless if it's a Big Gabot or another model, is take a pair of pliers and just spend some time stretching the rubber on it, just stretching the plastic on it. And what I'll do is I'll go all over the frog, and I'll just grab a hold of it with the pliers, and I'll just pull it. And what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to break some of those fibers up a little bit and make it more pliable and soften up the rubber. So I'll go all around the frog here, on the top, bottom, sides, everywhere, and really trying to stretch that frog out as much as I can. Now, this may take me several minutes. I just did that real quick as a demonstration. But try to beat up the frog. See, you can see some of the plier marks I made in there. That makes it look more realistic too. But when you stretch this rubber out and break up those fibers, it makes it easier for the bass to get that hook, because you don't have to press as hard to get that hook down on it. So that's the first thing I do. The next thing I do is then this is a pretty common frog modification, is you want to open up your hooks a little bit. See how those hooks are flush with the body there? Now, if you're fishing super thick vegetation, like you're throwing into slop and lily pads, you may have to leave it like this, because if that hook is sticking out a little bit, you're going to get hung up on the vegetation. But most of the time, I don't fish my frogs over thick vegetation. I throw my frogs just like a walking topwater. I'll throw it underneath overhanging trees and around docks, so I'm not worried about getting hung up. But what I want to do is I'm going to take these pliers and I'm going to open that hook up just about a 1/16 of an inch, a little bit, on both ends of it, where you can see now the point of that hook is sticking up a little bit more. And just that extra bit of bending it out like that makes a huge difference in the amount of fish you're going to land with that. And then finally, guys, you definitely want to trim that skirt back, because the factory skirts on all frogs are too long. And what happens is when you have too long of a skirt on there, it deadens the action of the bait, and it makes it harder to get that side-to-side walk like that. So what I do is I come in and I don't cut them straight across. I want to come in and I'm going to cut them at about a 60-degree angle, about midway up, like that, where it's it's not uniform. I don't want it uniform, like that. See, it's this is huge, guys, right here. By cutting half of that skirt off, it's going to give you a lot better side-to-side action like that, and that's the action you want as far as working a frog. Now, when you're working a frog is a little bit more difficult to work than like a Xerospook in terms of getting it to go side to side like that, because you have to get the frog working. And if you don't, if you say, for example, you throw that frog out and you're trying to work it like a zare spook, a lot of times it'll just go like that, and you won't get that side-to-side action. How you get the side-to-side action on a frog is when you jerk your rod, jerk the point of the rod to the water. In other words, hold your rod tip low like this. It's like you're not going to jerk it like that. You want to jerk it down like that. And by jerking it down, it gets that nose moving sideways like that a lot easier. And a big gabot is a lot more user-friendly than most frogs. So if you use a different brand of frog, you really have to focus in on getting that thing to go sideways like that. And that is the key. Getting that bait to go sideways is what's going to generate the strike. A couple other things with the frog. Summertime fishing, let's talk a little bit about. Frog fishing is all about shade. Now, if you watch many of my videos, guys, and it's about summertime fishing, we talk about how critical shade is to shallow water fishing, especially on a reaction bait. Frogs are probably the number one thing. It's like if you don't throw that frog around some shade in the summertime, you're just not going to catch any fish on it. You have got to be in those dark areas. So I take a frog and I'll throw it, I'll skip it underneath boat docks, I'll skip it down the side of docks, I'll throw it underneath overhanging trees, I'll throw it on any type of area that's got some shade coming out on it. It could be a bare riprap bank or whatever, but that shade is going to be really critical in order to get the bites on it. And also with the frog, if you're fishing a frog around some type of hard structure that's not grass oriented, you want to make sure that you use a pretty fast retrieve on it. So I'm usually going boom, 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 boom. And even though I'm going like that, the bait's not moving forward real fast. It's going side to side faster than it is forward. So that's another big thing. Those reaction strikes are gonna come a lot better if you keep that frog coming like at a medium fast pace. The only time that I slow it down is if I'm trying to concentrate on a little shade pocket. So let's say, for example, I'm working down this bank and there's an overhanging tree that has a shade pocket about as big as the front of my hood of my car. Then I may just bloop, bloop, let it stop, let the ripples dissipate, bloop, bloop, trying to keep it in that shade pocket as much as possible. But if you're coming down the edge of a piece of cover, that's when you usually want to speed it up. And in general, the cleaner the water with the frog, the faster you want to work it, and the more dirty the water, the more you want to slow it down. But a frog is a great late summer, early fall bait. Really good. I mean, it's probably my favorite time to fish a frog. You've got fish that are still up shallow feeding on bluegills. A frog is a great lure to catch those bluegill feeding bass. And as far as colors go, I don't get real picky on color. They got a bunch of good colors on the big gabot there when you check them out in my Tackle Warehouse link. I usually I like some type of a black frog. I like some type of a frog pattern frog, like the one I showed you, a little bit brighter color. And then I like a white one sometimes. The white really works good on a cloudy, overcast day. The dark one or the black one works good if you have a little bit, dirtier water clarity. And the perch patterns seem to work better in a clear water, more of a clear water situation. So anyway, guys, just a few frog tips. Hope it helps you guys catch some, and we'll check in later.